I've done a lot, but one of the most pressing time was during Mr. Pandey's case. Oh, that time I would take from early o'clock till late, making sure papers reached to the courts. Mr. Anand Ram Logan could testify to that. When they had 2 minutes to reach from the opposition office across town to get a paper signed by Affy Davis, he said, anybody? I said, yeah, sure, I could get you there on time. Or to the court on time to get this thing or this Affy Davis here or there. Up and down during his case. I was one who was there. I was the one who logged in around people, including Mr. Warner then, to making sure the bail get this and this and that. Everybody used to be loaded up. And I was there all the time during his case. You understand? Everything that took place in that case, his daughter riding up and down, whatever. You understand? I took them around.
Now, Ramesh, I'm still dealing with Mr. Pandey. We'll get into the other members of the family. Mr. Pandey is purporting that Mr. Warner has never taken bail for Mrs. Pandey. Mr. Warner never paid their salaries when they were ill they were not being paid for the 8 months, for the 12 months, sorry, and during the 2018 situation. Tell us your knowledge on these issues, because you were side by side with Mr. Pandey. You know, how close was Mr. Warner and Mr. Pandey? And from your knowledge, what has transpired?
That I think is what you use word absurd or ludicrous. Everybody should know that Mr. Warner did pay the salaries, and Mr. Warner carried the election, all the offices that had extra, the amount of hundreds of people that was on a payroll because of Mr. Warner. The country knows that. The only person that doesn't know it is Pandey. I guess it's because of his senility or something like that. The whole nation, the world by far, know Mr. Warner carrying the UNC. You understand? It's only Pandey alone know that. And you could tell Pandey, the sun no shine, and the sun up there in the middle of the sky. He said no, is no, because he's Bastille Pandey.
Now, Ramesh, I want to touch on another subject. You know, many people talk about the woman behind the man is what often sends the man either crazy, makes him a great man, and so forth. From your aspect of things, tell me, Mrs. Pandey, give me some insight on her dealings with you, her dealings with Mr. Pandey and the family, and what you've seen, as well as her dealings with people politically.
Well, Mrs. Pandey, I haven't had a massive amount of contact or great amount, but I'll tell you what, it is a fact Mrs. Pandey does run the UNC. There's no if and but, so maybe about that. I remember one time there was a little drinking up and eating up just before the lecture, and she was shooting off and going on. You would manage this one, and I want this one in this constituency, and dictating a pace of who's to run where, who's going to run where, and who would manage campaign, and all of that kind of stuff. So everybody knows. I think she sits at the table there and does nothing. She does everything behind the back. She does all the talking home, and on stage she has nothing to say.
So Ramesh, I mean, this is
and excuse me, Mrs. Pandey can't come around me and tell me I don't know. I taught Mrs. Pandey in primary school in TML. I told her that one night that it shocked her. I went to TML. I'm way ahead of Mrs. Pandey. You understand? I know her from Taruba, and I know her a long time. San Fernando I'm from. But I don't know all of a sudden where she got this power from. I know her in a different era. This power here is a different thing.
But Ramesh, you look younger than Mrs. Pandey by at least 20 years. You're telling me you taught the lady?
Yeah. Primary school, you know, long ago, they have a little thing in school, the upper standard, with teach the ABC, that kind of stuff I'm talking about now. I was probably about 5 years older than that.
Quite interesting, you know. Now, you know, I don't want to get into bacchanal too much, but I'm seeing the newspaper reports constantly, right? And I have been to 1 or 2 events and seen Mr., Mrs. and the junior Pandeys in a state of drunkenness where they can't walk out. Tell me about this. Is this true? Is this not true? Because this is something the public have been asking.
Well, sir, this probably is not a time for swearing, but on this cancer that I'm dying with and sick with, and the most loved thing I have in this world is my grandson, and I would swear. They are always tight. They all drink. Mrs. Pandey, Nikila Pandey, Nicola Pandey, they all... I used to buy the Heineken beers. When we stopped to pick up Nicola Fernandez, we used to stop right across the road in the bar, pick it up and put it in the Prado. You understand? Many times I have them get into it or get out from it. So I think they are shocking. These things, it's not a shock to the world knows it, but you know, you could say it over and over and they could say no, but it's only they're lying. They're the only ones who could lie.